$8,000.
Wouldn't it make sense to possibly come or increase the budget amount rather than cutting it back and then who knows, 5 years from now we're back in the same jackpot?
So I guess, again, in huddling with Michelle is, we can do it tonight, but what we were thinking is come back at the October 16th meeting. They will have, best case, they will have only been out there a week. We will still have enough time at the October 16th meeting to take that action.
We'll have a lot of these questions answered, i.e., can we use this cover? The DUDEC report may uncover other things, the security question. Some of these things were, it was kind of bad news assumptions we may be able to mitigate. So we'd like to be able to take some time to work on these before we actually ask for more. But your point is very important.
I think, if they can't come back and it's another 78,000,
there won't be able to use the hillside.
We go through that. Yeah, and we go through that.
And you said the tipping fee at the dump is only $30 a ton?
Yes, that's right.
Okay. That's an inconsequential amount.
And,
in the grand scheme of it, that's...
Yes, it is.
It's
but every bit helps.
Less than 1%.
But I think, Councilmember Buck, to your point, we're sort of, we're interested in what the DUDEC report says in case, whatever, if we need to spend a chunk of money over here or a chunk of money at the headworks, or, that we don't want to blow a significant part of available monies for the sewer on sludge removal. Yes, it's terribly important, but we're interested in hearing what else do we need to possibly spend money out there. It's really good news about the generator and having, maybe getting some better clarity on that. But yes, that can keep working because those are $100,000 or more. So.
But Tony, did you follow that? Once we get half of that sludge out of there, we can fill up one of the cells or half of one of the cells and not have to use that staging. We create our own. We stay. It's no longer a building. We're removing it as it comes. So that's the objective that I'd like to get to with this, so that you're taking care of it more like on a daily or weekly basis as opposed to letting it stockpile.
Well, that's the point. We got another 125 homes coming online. We've gotten away with this for 25 years. I won't be around, but 25 years from now, I want that city has a major problem too.
So we probably, it's a little bit, there's a lot of elements to this. The power, so the PG&E power going to that plant, we're investigating whether there's enough to maximize the current potential of that plant. The ponds have enough capacity, period, to double in town size, to go from 3,000 to 6,000. We have the capacity in terms of the ponds. We bought new aerators in the last 6 months, so we have the capacity to do that. We just can't leverage our facility because of this sludge. So I don't think we're at all concerned about that wastewater treatment plant being able to take us to the next 20, 25 years, as long as PG&E, we have enough power, that's part of our assessment that we're doing right now with DUDEC and an electrician. And if not, we're going to upgrade the power and get more amps out there to make sure that we can put all the equipment on.
There is always the other thing that we discussed about running the line 2 hours, which it's going to cost millions of dollars.
True.
You're really locked
That's
in
like
there.
50 years out. We potentially could use that at that point and get it out of the town. The thing that's really, I think, appealing about that pipeline is getting a sewer plant out of your town is the most appealing thing about that. On the downside, if you're a business person why would you do it if you have the potential to double your capacity, your population with what you have? We could put the air filters in and that type of thing, which Dudick will probably come back with and say, hey, why put these air quality filters in this thing? So it comes down to more of a business discussion at that point. The other thing is we've sunk in, unfortunately, a lot of money to the 18-inch oversized sewer plant pipe out at Rancho Vista, going the wrong way.
How much was that?
It was,
400,000 or something?
yeah.
Yeah, it was Roger's idea.
That was consistent with moving the sewer plant, which doesn't need to be moved.
Well, it's in the general plan to put it out towards Anzar Hawk. The new general, why?
Why was that ever put in the general plan?
You'd have to ask someone that,
It's a rhetorical question.
Yeah, so it's tough pill to swallow. In fact, the reimbursement agreement for the 18-inch line, we have to have that discussion here pretty soon.
What they're referring, I would really like to see a professional assessment, a very concise, clear assessment of what we think the capacity in terms of home count, population count, something translatable to the rest of us as far as the capacity, because there have been so many numbers thrown around. I can tell you that the council voted to do that 18-inch line because we were told we weren't going to have the capacity beyond the homes that are in process right now. And so we've had so many conflicting stories and bad information. And the fact is, we don't trust. At this point, there's no trust on the part of the population, the residents, and certainly on my part. I want somebody who is an outside professional to go in there and tell us what the capacity is and what we need to do to get to that capacity, because there's a lot of moving parts here. And so that's my expectation for that, the report on the master plan. That has to be one of the elements to that master plan. And if it is not, then we've wasted time. In my opinion.
The very first day I sat on this council, last December 2017, I asked for that report. I've asked for it several times, and it's slow. We're going to get there, and I'm in your corner on that.
Yeah.
We need it in the worst possible way.
Yeah, that's right.
I think you were elected in 2016.
Okay, well, thank you.
It's been 2 years. It's going really fast, John.
And out of my concern, I met with Ed Tweez and Chris from Bracewell and spent 2 hours at the treatment plant with just that issue in mind. What is the capacity? And I was told and Ed Tweez was told by Chris from Bracewell, the city manager said that it has the capacity, the size and everything, to handle a town that's twice the size of our current population, with the sludge, situation notwithstanding. So, if there was misinformation going around before, let's get it cleared up.
Yeah, I think there's so many variables to it. If what's the capacity if we don't change the aerators? What's the capacity if we do change? And I think that's what played into some of this, but. Who knows? At this point, we just need to have a baseline from which to make good decisions, because we've clearly made a really bad decision in putting that. I think clearly at this point made a really bad decision, and think what we could be doing with $400,000 that we've wasted on an 18-inch pipe.
So the permit to operate is 270,000 gallons a day.
I get that. That doesn't make any difference. That doesn't mean anything to me, because I have no idea what we need it in paper. We can look at it.
What the build-out looks like.
Yeah, kind of like sewer for dummies.
Yeah. I understand the permit. That's not what we're talking about. Because I can't go to the folks out here and say, it's got a capacity of 270,000 gallons. That doesn't mean anything to anybody. We need to translate that for an average person.
Okay.
And that's what we need to have come out of that report as well. Something that translates to the average person.
Okay. Any other questions?
I don't think so. Any questions from the,
Oh, yes, one more question. Duration of the project. What do we expect from when they start working? How long will it take to finish?
I believe a 4-week contract.
Okay, thank you.
And I do highlight in my staff report that there's going to be impacts because of odors and noise and truck
And
traffic.
that's why I asked, because I think it's going to be, we need to do a good job of getting the word out
Right.
very proactively.
Yes.
Harold, tell your neighbors.
Hey, so
Help us tell your neighbors.
why in the town too?
Yeah, you too.
any other questions from the council? Any public comment on this? No?
I just said it was good fertilizer. Those of us who garden.
You take as much as you want.
Yeah.
I know we're going to put it.
It's on sale.
We're going to close the public comment period. I need a motion and a second.
Okay, where are we?
We're at 5. We need a motion to approve.
Move to pass a resolution of the City Council of the City of San Juan Bautista authorizing the contract with Synagro WWT for a sludge removal contract at city's wastewater treatment plant.
I'll second it.
All right, we have a motion and a second. All in favor, say aye. Aye. All right, 5-0. We'll go to number B. Confirm selection of new Youth Commission members, Strategic Plan Committee Chairman Shauna Fields.
Hello, Mr. Mayor, members of the City Council. 2 members of the City Strategic Planning Committee joined the City Manager and one of our seated Youth Commissioners to interview 3 applicants for the Youth Commission. Tonight we are recommending that you appoint those 3 Youth Commission, prospective Youth Commission members. Armand Sohi, he's a 10th grader at Gavel College Early Academy. Jade Bixler, she's an 11th grader at Monte Vista Christian School in Watsonville. And Simran Kaur, a 9th grader at Gavel Early College Academy. And I'm here to answer any questions.
Any questions?
No, sir, it's great.
Any questions from the public on this? No? All right, close the public comment period. I need a motion.
Motion to appoint, somebody else.
Motion to approve the appointment of the new members recommended by the Strategic Planning Committee to the Youth Commission.
Second. I have a motion and a second. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
5-0. Go to number C. Consider ordinance providing emergency organization and functions.
Hello, Mr. Mayor, members of the City Council.
Yes.
First of all, I did not know this was going to be on tonight's agenda, so I apologize. There's no staff report. Our subcommittee of the Strategic Planning Committee had done quite a bit of research on emergency organization ordinances, and we presented it to city staff. We wanted the city attorney's advice, and we wanted the city attorney and city staff to review it. I didn't realize it would move so quickly.
Would you want it to be at the next meeting?
I'll refer to staff if they think that's necessary. I can certainly give you a little bit of background on the item.
Why piecemeal it? Let's just get it on in the next meeting.
I might not be available for your next meeting.
Let's do it now. Let's do it now.
Nice idea.
Okay. So the purpose of this ordinance, I'm going to read this to you because I didn't give you a written report. The purpose of this ordinance is to provide for an organizational structure for the city, for functions of the emergency organization in the city of San Juan Bautista to carry out the plans for the protection of the people and property within the city in the event of an emergency. And this is in accordance with the criteria established by the state of California in the California Code of Regs, Title 19, otherwise known as the Standardized Emergency Management System, or those of you who are familiar with fire, SEMS, and the National Incident Management System, NIMS, established by federal statute and federal regulation. As identified in our 2035 General Plan Implementation Matrix, one of our goals is to update that 2005 Emergency Operations Plan When we started evaluating the plan, we recognized that no ordinance had ever been enacted to allow us to actually implement or utilize that plan. This forming ordinance, if it's enacted by the City Council, introduced, of course, this evening and then adopted at your next meeting, will give the city the necessary organizational structure required by state and federal law in the event of an emergency, so that you can utilize your emergency operations plan. So, again, I'm here to answer any questions. Hopefully I can answer them.
Any questions from the board? No?
So I just want to point out that it's not properly numbered. I just received this on Friday, and Trish and I talked about it. It should be 33, I believe.
Not 31, right.
533.
Because we did a cannabis ordinance and we have
Actually, tax ordinance that's to be voted on.
So it would be 5-33.
Right, and then there's references within to, at least in one part, to the ordinance itself that would need to be corrected as well. That would be in 050 of this.
Yeah, there's a bunch of them. Would it be appropriate for us to verbally make that correction in passing this, or should we carry it over?
I think you can. I mean, it's going to be in the title as well. I think you can direct the city clerk to make the changes and then bring it back for the second reading with the changes. I think they're inconsequential. They're just numbering changes.
So the numbering changes would just be right down this list, right?
Yeah, that's right.
Well, yes, and like I said, there's some references within this ordinance to sections of the ordinance which will have to be changed as well.
Okay.
All right, any public comment on this? I told you. Okay. Public comment closed. I need a motion and a second for the first reading on this.
How would the
5-33.
So, okay, I move to pass an ordinance of the City Council of the City of San Juan Bautista approving the addition of Chapter 5-33, and that the text of the ordinance be updated by the clerk to reflect the change from 5-31 to 5-33, an emergency organization and functions to Title 5 of the San Juan Bautista Municipal Code. Is that acceptable?
Second. We have a motion and a second. All in favor, say aye. Aye. Motion passes 5-0. Next item, consider select honoree for the National Philanthropy Day, November 15th, 2018.
This is it.
Yeah.
Yeah. I have a nomination. Are we taking nominations now?
Yeah. You got a nomination?
I bet my nomination is better than your nomination. Who you got? I just came up with it.
Anthony Ponce. Anthony's been running for 2 or 3 years, virtually single-handed, the Junior Giants program. He was recently honored by the Giants as one of the best coaches in the entire program in our little town, and was brought up to the Giant Stadium during a game to be honored. He has done an amazing job, completely, not looking for any recognition, and I think he absolutely deserves it. Then carrying on a wonderful tradition in the Ponce family as well.
Yeah.
Carry on.
He played on my Little League.
Did he?
Was that last year?
40 years ago.
So that would be my
James, you want to nominate something?
Well, that's a pretty good one. I can tell you, having ringside seats to all that goes on at the ballpark there, I can tell you that the Junior Giants are very well run, great participation. I mean, all the little kids seem to be having a great time, very well organized.
You want to second that?
Well, my nomination, it's up to you. My nomination was going to be Jim Lustig, because so many times I've seen him out on the highway picking up trash with his little safety vest, and he's involved in just about every kind of activity going on in town. And he too is kind of an unsung hero, I think, and just has a lot of my personal respect and admiration as a guy, you know?
Sure.
So you can take a walk.
And he can walk pretty far. Yeah, so.
You making a motion in that?
Well, or is it require a motion or just submitting nominations?
I prefer to nominate Anthony myself. I can't do that.
You second it?
Did he make a motion?
Oh,
I don't know.
okay. I move that we select Anthony Ponce as our honoree for the National Philanthropy Day, November 15th, 2018.
Second?
We have a motion and a second. All in favor, say aye.
You didn't take public comment.
Okay.
You're right. Thank you. Public comment. I don't know why we do this. Public comment.
We're not talking about chicken, so.
Yeah. Public comment on this. Anybody have a public comment on this? Clearly no one has a public comment on this, so I'm going to close the period. Now we have a motion and a second, and all in favor say aye. Aye. All right. Keep that for next year.
I'll keep it for next year. And I just want to offer up an addendum to that when San Juan Bautista Romas lost its Little League charter, everyone wondered what's going to happen to that field, you know? And just to see it being used by little kids playing baseball again by anybody is fantastic. So
All right.
hats off to Anthony Ponce.
Yeah, very good, very good. All right, any comments from the city council?
One real short one. Okay, so one of the great things that's been happening in our town is that we have street sweeping again. So everyone, Wednesday night, move your cars to your driveway. Let the street sweeper sweep the street on Thursday morning.
Very good, very important.
That's a,
Tony?
that's a certain
Right.
Thursday.
John?
It's not every
Yes.
Thursday.
Thursday morning is trash pickup.
No,
Well,
Friday?
Oh,
All right, put it out on Thursday.
Well, don't put it out on Thursday until after he's done.
But it's not.
All right, no problem.
No, it's the day after though, right? You think you said it was?
Did I put it in the
Yeah,
newsletter? Was it in your bill?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah.
Mike, Dan, do you have a comment?
Yes, sir.
Chris, do you have a comment?
Nothing to add.
Nothing, and I have no comment. City manager,
Move your cars.
city attorney.
So I have a brief comment. The Dadwell project's finally been set for oral argument with the Court of Appeals. It's going to be October 3 in San Jose, and I anticipate a decision from them approximately by the end of the year, or Christmas gets in the way, first of next year.
All right. All right, I need a motion to adjourn.
I'll move.
Second, all in favor, aye. We're adjourned.
Wait just a second.
I was going to say that in my comments, we don't know.
The what?
We don't make some sure
Because first years are all these things.
How are you? Fine. We should just get one of that. The recording. Well, it's just as good as okay. And you too are for that podcast. It's a water system, okay? No. I can't. I'm not doing that. On the phone, but
I don't know.
Is that the resolution?
What's the point of going home then? I'm not sure about
And that was the real, like,
I'll be in, I'll be in Paris.
Yes, sir. What?
What happened there? What happened there?
Oh, sorry, I got returned back to see that, so I'm kind of, I'm glad you again.